Hey guys, my name is Piyush and today we are discussing about the client library, why they introduce and why we are using the client library. So first we'll start what does it mean by the client library. Adobe introduced the client library to manage the CSS and the JS file and another resources just like the fonts and the images. Now I'll give you one example. For making one website, what we need a HTML. Later that we need a CSS, JavaScript file, some fonts we need, and after that we needed some images, videos and audios. Yeah, so who cover this HTML? The same thing we can write in our AEM components. AEM components, that means in our AEM components we can write the HTML, but what's about the CSS and the JS? Okay, so CSS and the JS or these fonts we can write in our client library. Yeah, and after that if you want to use some videos, images and audios, then you can simply use the assets. Here we have options of the assets, or you can say it's a DAM. So here in our AEM we have one option, that is assets or DAM. If you want to add these types of images, videos and the audios, you can simply add inside the assets. Yeah. So this client library used for organizing your CSS and the JavaScript files, or you can say it's your font files. So we know that for creating a component, or for they provides one GUI for creating the component, and in backend it will store by CQ component. The type of the component, that is CQ component. Okay, the same thing for if you want to create the client library, then the client library type is CQ client library folder. Here we have options of client library folder. Come here and here you see CQ client library folder. Yeah, and the thing is, so whenever you want to create the client library, we have to type this first. We have to choose this primary type, otherwise your client library won't create. After that, how your client library work? Here we have two files, that is js.txt and the css.txt. So they are saying these are the crucial file to manage JS and the CS. Now tell me, now consider you have a number of files of JS, number of files of the JS, and you want to execute one by one. So how you can execute? We have to tell to someone to execute this file one by one. So here we have a concept of the sling. So sling will execute all the things one by one, but where the sling will come? So your sling will come inside your js.txt first. If you want to execute the JS files, then first of all it will come inside your js.txt, and if you want to execute CSS file, then we have to write the entry inside the css.txt. That means whatever the JS file you are going to add inside the js.txt, that file only execute. Like here I am mentioning custom.js. now here I have mentioned custom.js. that means now only the sling will come inside your js.txt. after that it will execute this custom.js. okay, and after that here consider, here I have a sample.js. So first of all, the first precedence is, first it will execute this custom.js, and later it will execute sample.js. The same thing if you are writing some entries here, so it will execute according to precedence. If you are entering as a first, then it will execute as a first. If you are mentioning as a last, then it will execute as a last. Yeah, so here how it will work. So here you see, here we have a concept. So first of all we have to create the client library by using this primary type. After that your sling will come inside the js.txt. yeah, and after that it will take all your JSS file and it will going to execute it. Okay, so it will first of all come inside your js.txt. later that it will come to your JS, all your files whatever in that is present inside your js.txt. after that it will come in your css.txt, and whatever the file that is present inside your css.txt, it will execute. Yeah, and here we have a files just like a JS and the CSS file we have. And if you want some extra functionality, like here if you want some extra functionality, like here you have a 3 MB size. Here you have one file that is custom.js, and the size of the custom.js is 3 MB. Now you want to reduce some white spaces is there, you want to reduce these white spaces. So how we can do this thing? So by using a minification. Here we have options of the minification. Okay, so by using minification you can easily reduce the size of your files. Okay, so who provide this option? So for that they already created one configuration. They have already created the configuration. That means provide some extra functionality, like here you have a classes and you want some extra functionality, then this client library will provide. Okay, this configuration is provided, and what's the name of that is HTML library manager. Okay, so we'll go there and we'll just try to create it. Come here and we have to go inside our CRXD. Okay, we have come here. Here I just want to create the client library. So we have two types of client library, that is component level and the global level. If you want to create the global level, you just create inside the clientlibs folder, and if you want to create the component level, you can just simply go inside the components and you can create it. So now I'm creating as a global level. So here we have options of the client library. Just right click it, create, and create a node. And we already knows that the type of node is what is the type of this node? That is CQ client library folder. After that you can just simply name it whatever you want. So I'm just giving text, just OK. Now what is the type of this folder? Here you see both are look wise are same. When I'm clicking here in this search, see what is the type of this search? That is empty folder. And if I'm clicking in this desktop, see here the primary type is CQ client library folder. Both look wise are same, but when you are clicking and checking the primary type, both are different. Okay, so this is the thing that we have created. We have to organize our CSS and the JS file. So for that you just create the folder, create a folder for the JS. You can just simply add all the JS inside your JS folder and create another that is CSS, and you can simply add all the CSS folder inside this CSS file inside this folder. So now I'm just creating one file like a sample.js. Here I have created the sample.js, and here I'm writing some name like name. Here I have defined the name, and simply I'm writing console.log, and this is the name that I'm printing it. Okay, so this file I have added. After that, but your Sling will not execute this CSS and the JS folder. Where your Sling will come? Your Sling is come inside your js.txt or css.txt. So we have to create this folder. We have to create this file. So where we can create? We have to right click in our client library. Here I'm clicking create and create file. Here you can just simply create js.txt for the JS folder for the JS, and here we have to create css.txt. So I have created two files like css.txt and js.txt. Okay, so here now we have to write our entry. So what we want, inside our JS folder we have sample.js. Is it inside this folder we have a sample.js, and whatever the sample inside the sample.js, I just want to execute these things. If somebody send the request, we have to execute this. So how we can do it? So you can just simply come here inside the js.txt, and we have to write the sample.js. But where it is, this sample.js, it's present inside your JS. Why? Because of whenever the Sling will come, it will check only the folder, it will not check the inside your folder. So we have to make the entries like here. We have to make the entries like this sample.js is present inside your JS folder. So how we can mention? So you can just simply use base equals to JS. That means this folder is a common. So whatever now consider inside the JS we have another file, that is custom.js. Here this is the custom.js that I have created. Now we have a two files, but consider now we have more than 10 files, 100 files. Then for that we cannot write the JS for every time like this. We cannot write like this, so it will be very complicated. Every time we have to write it. So for that I just make it as a common. You can just simply close it. Now if you want this custom.js, you can simply write custom.js. So I have created this two. After that just here we have a folders custom.js. Here we don't have anything, so here I am creating var last name software solutions console.log. Here I have written it. Now the thing is, now we want to execute this thing. So now I'm just going here, I'm clicking in this client library, come copy it and just click localhost 4502 and paste it. Now hit enter. It's saying it's not found. If you want to execute the JS, so you can just simply write the JS. Now whatever the inside this client library JS folder will there, JS file, so it will come when you send this request. So just try to hit enter. See now what it came. It came first name, this is the sample.js, and here we have a custom.js. So both file came at the same time. When I hit this request, which one, this request, at the same time this both file came. Yeah, so here we have one concept, that is number of requests. So when we are using a traditional way by linking the CSS and the JS with your HTML, we have to follow this way. We have to use this rule. That means if you want the CSS file, for that we have to use this tag, that is link tag, every time. After that, if you want to use the JS, then for that we have to use this script. If you want to add 100 files, then we have to use 100 times this name. This all the things we have to follow it. And when consider now you have a home.html. Home, you have one file that is home.html, and you are requesting for this home.html. So each and every time we have to send the request for every file. Like here we have one, so we have to send the request for this file as well. We have to send the request for this. Now consider you have 1,000 files, so for the 1,000 we have to send the request 1,000 times. Okay, and this is not a good way. Okay, so when I'm calling, at the same time we have to load all the files. That means what we are doing, by using this way, we are sending the request multiple times, and by using the client library we reduce these drawbacks. Like here you see, I have already give you example. So I am just calling once, I am only calling once, and whatever the file that is present inside the JS, all the file is loading. See here, if I am using this desktop, this is my client library, and I want to execute the all JS file. So you can just simply just dex.js, you can just write it, and whatever the file that is present inside your JS folder, all the files will come like this. Okay, so this is the thing. And after that later we have a dependency management. What does it mean by the dependency management? Here you see, like consider you have two files, first one file 1, and later we have a file 2. Now this file 2 is dependent on the file 1. Yeah, so we have to load this file 1 first, later that we have to load this file 2. Why? Because of this file 2 is dependent on the file 1, so we have to load this file 1 first. Otherwise, if your file 2 is executed and whatever the code that you have written, that code is related to this file 1 and this file 1 is not loaded, then it throws the exception. Okay, it throws the error. So this is not a good thing. So we have to maintain the dependency as well. In this traditional way, we have to maintain the dependency. So if you want to if you want to overcome, and client library is already overcome, overcome. So they introduce one concept, that is dependency. One property is there, that is dependencies. Okay, that means if your client library, here we have one client library like client library 1, and here we have options of client library 2. So if this client library is dependent on this client library 2, then you can simply use this client library. You can by using these dependency properties, you can simply use this client library inside this client library 1. That means you are loading this client library 2 before this client library 1. Okay, so I'll tell you. Before that, this is our client library. Yeah, this one is our client library, and we haven't given the name of this client library. So how we can give it? So for that, we have to use one property, that is categories. Here I am using categories. Click here inside this property. Here I have written the categories, and you can name it whatever you want. That means here you are writing CSS and the JS code, and if you want to call this code somewhere, so for that you have to name it for your client library. Okay, so how we can name it? By using the categories, and maybe a name, maybe a more than one, so we have to make as a multi, and after that you can simply add. So I am returning client libs text, and simply add. Okay, so I have added. Save the changes whatever you have did. Okay, so now it's done. After that I am creating another client library, that is, oh sorry, it's not a folder, it's a client library. Okay, so we have to create the node, and here you can just make it dex2. So I have written dex2. Just save it. I have saved, and here I am just writing the CSS and the JS, but I need only JS now, so I am creating a JS folder only. Come here inside. First of all, we have to create the js.txt. This is mandatory. I have created. After that, come here, folder, create one file like a custom 2.txt. no, custom 2.js. no, I have created custom 2.js, and here I am writing something, anything like var number 1, then let num2 equals to 20. After that, here I am creating one num1 plus num2. Yeah, so this is the code that I have written it. After that, when I write this code, we have to make the entry inside here. So I am using hash base equals to js. After that, we have a custom 2.js. This is the file that I have written, and just simply check it's coming or not. So just copy this, come here, type localhost, paste it, and after that we have to use JS. So this code is coming, that means your client library is working now. Okay, come back. Yeah, here this is the thing that I have written, and we have to give the category. See, so in the dex we have gave already clientlib desktop, but in this desktop too we have to give it. So we have to use the category properties, and here I am just simply mentioning 2. Okay, name it. Now we already knows that our client library, that means this desktop is dependent on this desktop 2. So this desktop 2 we have to load inside our desktop 1. So how we can do this? So you can just simply use the dependency. Come here and use dependencies. Make as a multi, and you can simply use the client library name. Which client library you want inside your dext, inside this what you want. That means which client library you want to load before this desktop, this dex. So I want to load this one. So you can just simply use dex. No, we have to come here and we have to copy this client library. Just simply copy it. When you copy, come there, go there and just paste here, add, and just simply OK. So if I'm using, see, I haven't used this anywhere, this desktop and this client library, but if I want to use it anywhere, so you will definitely see before this desktop this dex2 will upload. See, now I'm just going in my page, local 452 simple. Okay, so here I'm going, here I have EN, just try to open it. Today we'll see how we can import and export the AEM project from your Eclipse. Okay, so you have created one project and now you want to import this project inside your Eclipse, or you want to run your AEM perspective in Eclipse. Then how we can do it? So for that we already knows that our our project is a AEM project. That means it's a Maven project. So whenever you want to import it, just come here. Here you see, now I'll show you my project. Okay, so this is my project, that is April. This one is my project, and inside that we have a lot of modules. So if you want to import this module, for that, okay, if you want to import this module or you want to import this project, for that you have to come inside your Eclipse. Here we have options of file, and here we have options of the import. You can just simply click import, and here after that we have already created the project. See, this is the project that we already created by using a Maven. So this is our existing Maven project. Just search Maven, and after that here we have a lot of options. Just click here and next. Okay, once you are clicking next, it will ask where it's your project, so you have to browse it. You have to browse, just go inside your D drive, and this one is our project. So you can just simply click this one, select folder, and once you select, here all the options will automatically select. So what are these are the POM files. So you have to select all of these things. Okay, and after that just simply finish it. So it's taking some time for importing. So right now it's a 0, so it will take some time for the import. Okay, so it's imported, and here you see, so once it's import, here we have options, it's imported, and after that here we have all modules, core, dispatcher, test, app. So what are all the modules, what are the module that is present inside your project? This is your project, and these are the modules. So all the modules that is imported in your code. So when where is that code is present? So code present inside your core folder. Here we have a core module. You can just simply expand it, and after that once you expand this core, so here you see, so here we have a core, just expand it, and after that these are your packages, and these are the concept. Filter is a concept, listener, model, scheduler, and the servlet. If I open this servlet and double click, here you see that these are the automatic generated packages and the classes. See, so we don't need to be write it. See, so here that all the stuff they have already created. If you want to create the servlet, if you want to create one class that is servlet, then you can just simply come here and you can create here. After that, if you want to create the sling model, here we have a concepts of the sling model in AEM. So if you want to create it, you can just simply come in the model and just create it. So all the backend, whatever the backend, if you want to write, you can just simply come in the core and just write it. After that, here we have one concept that is apps, and inside our apps, all the project, that all the component that is stored inside your app module. So if I'll try to expand it, here you see these are our components. This is a carousel, button, breadcrumbs, accordion, carousel, container. These are nothing but your component, but these component are in deactive mode now, so we have to activate. So how we can activate? So for that, for that, where we are right now, we are in a Eclipse. Okay, now what we want a AEM perspective. We want a AEM. So how we can take the AEM? You can just simply come here inside helps. We have to download the AEM perspective. Okay, no? So you can just simply come inside the help, and here we have options of the Eclipse marketplace, or you can simply install a new software. You have to click here. Once you click here, we have to write one path. Here we have to define one path. So how we can define? We have to add here, add, and here we have to define the path like AEM perspective. So this is deprecated, that AEM perspective nowadays is deprecated. Eclipse removed from the marketplace, so we have to download from the internet. So you can just simply come here, open it, and here we have to type AEM perspective in Eclipse. You can just simply type. Once you type, it will open some of the things. You have to open one website. Yeah, you can just simply click somewhere, like here we have a, this is the Eclipse, we need AEM. Where it is, we have to go somewhere, like one link is there, we have to click in this link. We have to try to find out it. Yeah, this is, you can just simply, yeah, this is the tool, and here we have options. So you can just simply, here they are saying installation link, right click here and just simply copy link address. Just come back in your Eclipse, where it is, yeah, here you have to paste the code whatever you have, HTTP, and just name it AEM perspective or perspective, that is also okay. Add it. So it will take some time and this option will open. So you have to simply select it and just finish. It will take some time, and after that, that next option will come. So you have to click on this next option. If this thing is finished, no, this jar file, now it's downloading something or loading it. So once it will load completely, that next option will open. So you have to simply click in this next. So once you click, they will ask for the download. You can just simply download it, and after that you have to restart the Eclipse. Here you can just simply click it, and here we have the options of the restart. You just need to click here, and once you open, your Eclipse will open again. So you can just simply click here in this here we have options of the perspective. Here you can just simply click here, and that AEM option will open. We have to click in this AEM and open it. So once you open, this AEM perspective will open. Okay, so how you can recognize? So that JCR property will be there, that JCR property tab will be there. That means this is your AEM perspective. Yeah, it's done. Now the thing is, it's done now. Now I want code. Here you see, this is our local instance, this one is our AEM, and this one is our Eclipse. Now I want to, from here, if I change something, if I'm going in my CRXD and I'm creating one component, consider I have created one component, and this component I want inside here. Here I want the same project. Here we have options of the search, and the same project I have imported here as well. So now if I'm creating one component, consider this is the component. Now I'm creating it. So here I'm just naming it. This is our component, sample component. I'm written sample components that I have written. Just simply click OK. Yeah, this is the thing. Now this component I have created, and if I'll try to go inside the apps, we already knows what are the component that you are creating in the apps, that all the component is stored in your app module. So you have to come here and just try to see it. Here you have to see it, but you won't find this component. Why? Because of you haven't imported. So for that we have to import first. But before that, this all the component are in deactive mode, so we have to activate. So just go inside the apps, right click here, property option is there, you have to click in the property, and here we have the options of AEM. Click here and simply browse it. See, this is not our resultant path. Which one is our path? That is source, main, content and the JCR root. Yeah, and where it's going inside that AEM sling is going inside your source, main and the resource. So this is not our path, so we have to browse it. Why I am doing this option? When I'm right click here, import and export option will open, but if I'll try to click here now, that option won't open. So for that we have to change the path. Yeah, so just browse it and go inside the apps. Till now, here this is the path we have: source, main, content and the JCR root. We have to go there. So here we have a source, main, content and the JCR root. Just click and OK. Apply and close. Now here you see. So if I'm try to click here, see, or it's opening the apps. Apps have search and search have our components. So if I open the components, all the components are opening. That means now is in active state. Before that it was in passive state. Okay, so if I still I don't have this component, which one? Whatever the component, that is sample component that I have created, this component wasn't here. It's not present inside your project. So how you can take it? So for that we have to right click here, and once you are right clicking, we have to import. We have to import from the server. When you are importing from the server, when you are clicking finish, this component will come. But before that it's asking something, and that is server. What is server? So if you are transferring from here, you are fetching this code in the Eclipse. So we need some platform for transferring and for receiving and transferring. We need some platform, and that is server. So we have to create the server first. If you create the server, then you are easily import and export it. So just come here and just create the server, but I have created the server already. Now I'm just deleting this existing. Just delete from here. Okay, so I have deleted. Just simply click here in this options. Here server. If you want find the server, just go inside your window. Here we have options of the show view and just try to find out the server here. If it is not here, just click in the other and just type the server there. So when you are typing the server, that option will available. Here you see, now I'm typing server. See, server is coming. You just click here and just open it. So this option will open. Just click simply here. Once you are clicking, all the server that already existing, this option will open. Okay, so we already download the perspective. That means this server is present somewhere. So here we have a sling, and inside the sling we have a Adobe Experience Manager. So select this one and just click next. And once you are clicking next, which module you want to import and export, so you have to select this module. But here we don't have core, but we needed core. Yeah, here we don't have a core. In consider, now I want to write one code, and this code now I want to transfer in my Eclipse. Okay, so this module must be present in your server. So for that, this module is not present, so you just do one thing: right click here inside the core, properties, and here we have options of the project facet. Click here, convert facet from. Okay, and here we have options of the bundle module. You have to click here, apply and close. Okay, again just try to create the folder server. Click here, we have a sling, AEM, next. Now this case we have options of the core. Now we got all the modules. You have to just simply add all and just finish it. Okay, so now you have created the server, but we have to on it. Now this server is in on stop mode, so we have to on. Right click here and just start it. Yeah, so now your server is in start mode. Yeah, so you just come here in this apps, from where you want to import it. So whatever I have created inside our CRXD, that means in my AEM, this code I want here. So for that we have to import from the server. You just click inside the import and just finish. That means what you are doing, so you are importing the content from your server, and server, that means your CRXD. Just finished. Yeah, so now it's done, but in my case it haven't shown any exceptions or